Welcome back to my channel. In 2026, I think the gacha game market is having a really interesting battle going on. On one side, we have Mongil Stardive, I'll just call it MSD for short, from Netmarble Monster, and on the other side, Neverness to Everness, or NTE from Hata Studio, the studio that previously made Tower of Fantasy. These two games launched at almost the same time. Both use Unreal Engine 5, both are action gacha games, but my actual experience playing them feels completely different, like comparing a mountain climbing trip to a city tour. Today, I'll give a straightforward analysis so you can decide which one suits you better. Oh, and if you want to see the tier list for NTE, I've put the link in the comments below. If you want me to make another tier list, feel free to leave a comment under the video. First, let's talk a bit about the background of these two so you can understand why their DNA feels so different. MSD is actually a revival of Monster Taming, a game from 2013 that had more than 15 million users over a decade. Netmarble Monster isn't just making a new game. They're trying to bring that classic monster taming spirit to a new level with modern graphics and full voice acting. NTE, on the other hand, is different. Its inspiration comes from Meroria, the cyberpunk city in Tower of Fantasy that players really loved. Hata Studio looked at that feedback and thought, okay, then let's build a full open urban world. And that's why NTE is often called Anime GTA. Not just for marketing, but because that's essentially what it's trying to do. Now let's talk about graphics. Both use UE5, but the way they use it is clearly different. MSD goes for a stylized direction. Bright colors, expressive character designs, and the world of Balana with lush green forests and East Asian-inspired villages. Very anime and very clean. They use UE5's sequencer system really well for cutscenes. I watched a dialogue scene between Cloud and Verna, and the character expressions were so smooth that it barely felt like I was watching a mobile game. NTE goes in the opposite direction. The city of Heathero is built with a semi-realistic level of detail. It has ray tracing, DLSS 4, and the most impressive part is that there's no loading screen when moving from the street into buildings. I remember the first time riding a motorbike through Heathero in the rain, neon lights reflecting on the wet road, traffic moving around, pedestrians walking. It had a very hard to describe living vibe. About system requirements, you should keep this in mind. MSD's recommended specs are around a 9th Gen i7, 16GB RAM, and a GPU like RTX 2060, taking about 50GB of storage. NTE is significantly heavier. Recommended specs are i7 12700, up to 32GB RAM, RTX 3060, and 60GB SSD. That 16GB versus 32GB RAM gap is not random. NTE needs those resources to handle the AI of hundreds of NPCs running continuously, along with all the environmental data to maintain a constantly living city. MSD is better optimized for mid-range machines, while NTE clearly targets higher-end PC users. Okay, now to the part I think many of you care about the most: combat. At a glance, both are action games with real-time character switching, but the feel is quite different. In MSD, you control a team of 3 characters and can switch between them to trigger tag skills. The most distinctive feature is your companion Nyanners. This cat isn't just a cute mascot, it plays a real tactical role. When you break the enemy's toughness bar, Nyanners will chain the target in place, and your entire 3-character team jumps in to attack at once. That moment feels explosive and very satisfying. Like, okay, now we go all in. I think this system prioritizes fast-paced action over deep strategy, and for many players that's actually a good thing. NTE takes a different approach. They call their system the Esper gauge. When you tag in a new character, that character performs a strong entry attack and the previous character doesn't disappear immediately. They stay on the field for a short moment so both can deal overlapping damage. This creates extremely smooth combo chains. NTE's combat is more about flashy presentation, while MSD delivers a more explosive sense of victory. Which one you prefer is up to you, but I think both have their own strengths, and it's not fair to say one is worse than the other just because they are different. Now we get to what I think is the biggest difference, and also the main reason why these two games attract different types of players: the open world and what you actually do in it. MSD takes you to the continent of Balana, a fantasy world with regions like Centralia, the Far East, and the Deadlands. The core goal is to explore, fight, and capture monsters to complete the Monster Codex. The story is light and humorous, following the journey of Cloud, Verna, and Nyanners as they investigate strange phenomena. If you've ever played Pokemon or enjoy that adventure and creature collection vibe, MSD will give you that feeling, but with modern action combat. NTE is different. Completely different. The city of Hetero is not just a backdrop for combat, it's a living sandbox. I spent an entire evening in NTE without fighting a single battle. I drove a taxi to earn money, worked as a barista in a cafe, then went to a garage to customize the supercar I just bought. And the wanted system in NTE, I find this extremely interesting and funny. If you cause trouble in the city, the police will chase you. If you get caught, you'll be sent to a detention center and have to do community service, like using a high-pressure water hose to clean the streets. It sounds ridiculous, but it actually becomes one of the most enjoyable activities because it's both a punishment and a form of entertainment. There are also mini-games like mahjong, claw machines, rhythm gameplay and super sound, buying apartments and decorating interiors, even holding hands and walking around the city with characters like Juyuan. NTE is not just an action RPG. It's trying to build a meta-galaxy where players live in the world instead of just playing through it. Character collection and progression. This is the part you need to understand if you care about long-term play. MSD has the Monsterling Combine system. You capture monsters, obtain their Monsterlings, then combine them to upgrade star levels and unlock new abilities. I have to be honest, this system has multiple layers of RNG. You'll need to grind quite a bit to reach an optimal team, and this is a point that receives mixed feedback from the community. Not everyone enjoys a system that depends heavily on luck, especially when compared to competitors like Zenless Zone Zero or Wuthering Waves. NTE is trying to go in a different direction. The most notable point is that they completely remove the 50-50 mechanic in limited banners. When you reach Pity, 90 pulls, you are guaranteed to get the featured character with no chance of losing to another one. In addition, the Awakening system allows you to choose which stats or skills to unlock when you obtain duplicate copies of a character instead of following a fixed path. I think this is a smart move. It not only makes players feel more respected, but also creates more room for experimenting with different builds. NTE also has a very generous launch offer. More than 470 pulls and a free S-rank character named Chiz. The characters in the two games also clearly reflect different design philosophies. MSD builds characters in a fairly traditional RPG structure. Esther is a burst damage assassin, Jiwon is a support who increases damage and reduces stamina cost, Sangun is inspired by East Asian mythology. Each character has a defined role, and you need to consider elemental types when building your team to break boss shields effectively. Meanwhile, NTE's Esper characters are not just fighters, they are citizens of Hetero with their own everyday stories. I feel attached to them in a different way, not just because of their combat kits, but because they feel like they actually live in that city. Characters from the Enforcement Tactical Division like Nitsa and Xe give off a supernatural police vibe, which fits perfectly with the game's theme of investigating anomalies. So in conclusion, which one should you choose? I'll say it straight. If you love pure action RPGs, enjoy the nostalgic feeling of exploring the world and collecting creatures, and like a light fantasy story with clearly defined character roles, then MSD is the natural choice. It's safe in a good way. It knows what it wants to do and does it well. But if you're the type of player who is tired of the traditional action gacha formula, wants something more free, where you can fight anomalies and then go home to watch TV and drive around the city the next morning, then NTE is opening up something completely different that very few games dare to try. The biggest question I have about NTE right now is whether Hetero can maintain its liveliness after players finish the story content. This is the biggest challenge for any open world game. As for MSD, it needs to prove that its Monsterling system is not so RNG heavy that it discourages casual players. Both have potential, both are trying to do something interesting, and I think this is one of the most exciting gacha game seasons we've seen in a long time. Are you on Team MSD or NTE? let me know in the comments. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, so I have more motivation to make deeper analysis videos in the future.